Hello and welcome. My name is Jake Simonton, and I will be presenting the importance of social-emotional learning in our schools today. This overview will show the impact of social-emotional learning in our public education system, as well as why we must continue to support our students through social-emotional learning. Social-emotional learning in public education today is critical as we look at the needs of our students that are headed into the 21st century. The acronym PIES, PIES standing for the outline of the 4 domains that our students have that include their physical needs, their intellectual needs, their emotional needs, and their social needs. Public education has done a great job on focusing in the first 2 domains of the student, the intellectual and physical. In particular, in 200 years ago, we started with a focus on purely the academic or intellectual needs of our students. In the last 20 years, with increased health concerns due to obesity and diabetes, heart disease, our public education system has responded with more physical education classes, such as health and wellness, to address the physical domain, but the social and emotional domains of our students have not been addressed. And so this presentation is going to find the importance of social-emotional learning needs of our students and why it is critical for the success of our students and their future. The stakeholders that would be impacted by social-emotional learning as we bring it into our schools today, first and foremost would include building leadership, which would be the school administration and teacher leaders, who must understand this initiative in order to properly implement it. And then next, our primary stakeholders are our students, who would be receiving these skills and benefiting from social-emotional learning. They must understand it as well. And finally, the parents of our students must have a clear explanation of why social-emotional learning is necessary as part of the public educational system today. As you look at this diagram presented by CASEL, which is the Collaboration for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, a group that strongly supports social-emotional learning in public education, you'll see the 5 competencies that outline includes self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. Self-awareness includes the ability to recognize one's own emotions, thoughts, and values, and how they influence behavior. It's important one can accurately assess their own strengths and limitations in this area as it builds a sense of confidence. Growth mindset with self-management is the ability to successfully regulate your own emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in different situations, and how you can manage your own stress, control your impulses, as well as increase your motivation. Social awareness is that ability to think about how others are feeling, that empathy, which includes those from a diverse background or culture. It helps one to understand their social and ethical norms and how they react in those situations. Relationship skills is, of course, the ability to build and maintain healthy and rewarding relationships with all groups, including those with a diverse background. Communication skills, such as how we listen, how we cooperate with others, and how we resist inappropriate social behavior. And finally, responsible decision-making is our ability to make constructive choices about our own personal behavior as well as our social interactions, and it is based on our ethical beliefs, concerns for safety of ourselves and others, as well as social norms. So why should we consider social-emotional learning? What does it take to get it into our schools? Hosfeld in 2008, through their research, showed that SEL, or social emotional learning, empowers students with the ability that directly impacts not only their academic lives, but the success and happiness for them in the future as an adult. So it's important that we understand how and when to access and teach social emotional skills, as that's at the heart of successful implementation. So in this slide, I'm outlining basic approaches to how we bring social emotional learning into schools, with two specific ones, including the SAFE acronym and the 3 R's. The specific ways we can bring social emotional learning in is through skill instruction or direct instruction. Another way that a teacher can bring it into their lessons is into their instructional practices. It might include freestanding lessons. It might include teaching lessons such as cooperative learning or project-based learning, and can also be integrated into the academic curriculum, into the core curriculum through classes such as language arts, math, social studies, or even health, are very natural ways to bring in social emotional learning. And finally, through the actual organizational culture, rather that's the school code or the school culture, classroom management, are all very natural ways to bring in social emotional learning. In this matter specifically, through a SAFE approach, SAFE standing for sequence, active, focus, and explicit, teachers can build in lessons. Examples of what this might look like are children could be taught modeling and coaching, through modeling and coaching, to recognize how they feel or how someone else is feeling, and use of conflict resolution skills and use of dialogue to guide students through the steps that they can effectively take to solve the situation. Or students may learn through sports or games or other activities. The 3 R's stands for review, reflection, and recognition. The first R, review. A teacher might ask questions like, what do my students know that they didn't know before? Or what misconceptions the students have that I'm addressing? Through the second R, reflection, the questions might come like, how can I use certain SEL skills to improve their learning? Or what do I need and want students to understand about their own SEL skills? And the third R, recognition, is at this point, they've learned, and so the reflective and recognizing questions might be what student demonstration social emotion skills today, or how are students good models for each other. Social emotional learning is a smart investment. As we examine the statistics outlined in red here, it's staggering what mental health is impacted our students with today. With all chronic mental illness beginning by age 14, half of the students are diagnosed by age 14, and half of all lifetime cases of anxiety disorder begin as early as age 8. We cannot ignore social emotional learning in schools today. A staggering statistic that 1 in 12 high school students have attempted suicide. So this investment of social emotional learning is smart, as you can see through the OECD study in 2017. For every $1 that we invest, we see an $11 return. It starts as early as kindergarten and has lifetime benefits, starting with reading and vocabulary, and has positive results, as Brodo outlines, that there's improved academic performance for those students that have SEL skills. There are improved attitudes and behaviors, and a deeper connection to school that reduces those negative issues such as anxiety and depression. The 2011 meta-analysis done by Caswell showed that there was an 11 percentile gain for those students with SEL skills and academic achievement compared to students whom did not have SEL programs. And the Brookings Institute in 2015 shows the long-term success for all students with SEL in today's economy. So we can see that it is a good investment. SEL will not happen by itself, though. It takes strong leaders that have the principles of charge under control to understand how to help their staff embrace and take on SEL in the school. So teacher leaders and building administration must understand principles of change, such as the Concerns-Based Adoption Model, CBAM. In that model, we would really have to start with a needs assessment and a survey of students, parents, and staff so that the leadership could understand what level staff is starting at. They might be starting at a 0 where there is no awareness even of what SEL is, and to those that are at a level 6 and already are using it daily in their classroom and refocusing and improving SEL. This needs assessment would review what the attitudes and beliefs are towards SEL by all three groups: our students, our teachers, and our parents. It would help leadership understand what training and other resources are necessary to move SEL forward, to keep it from moving, and what would keep it from moving forward. Strong leadership also must understand that there is a must-have for collaboration involvement, including all of the staff at each school, or a staff representative moving something forward. So the team needs to be comprised of administration and staff to support and bring them together and start working on that implementation. Eventually, that teams need to be expanded to include all stakeholders, including the students and the parents. This team would need to work on the necessary components for successful implementation. Ambrose, in 1987, showed that the components for complex change and implementation, as he outlined their needs for vision, skills, incentives, resources, an action plan when anyone is missing in that charge process, negative results such as frustration or confusion or even lack of success comes to bounce. So this team would need to go through all of those components. DePaulo, in 2017, shows that at schools, principals it is a big importance, as they believe there's a positive impact of school climate that improves relationship between students and teachers. And it also decreases bullying, which we know is a huge issue in schools today. When looking at the 2013 survey by Castle, it showed that 93% of teachers had a strong belief in social-emotional learning. So with SEL and a successful implementation, what would it look like in your school? In the chart outlined below, DeWitt outlined some of the changes in what the culture would look like before, where we might be controlling student behavior. All of a sudden students become responsible for their behavior. Where staff might be teaching content, now they're teaching students how to learn, and before, when the student was not taking much responsibility with learning, the teacher was helping them and takes responsibility for their own learning as well. A classroom where a teacher and students who understand and value social-emotional learning might have exercises such as mirrors and windows, which is an analogy where a student reflects through mirrors and learns about their peers through windows. There might be a therapy dog in a classroom that values social-emotional learning because research shows when a dog is present, students relax and they take more risks with their reading. No matter what social-emotional learning looks like in your school, once it's fully implemented, students and staff will embrace it, and the